Hey folks, Marcus from Heel Toe here. ATLP is an exhaust line that Heel Toe actually produces. It stands for Achieving Total Luxury and Performance. We make exhaust systems for some really nice Honda and Acura cars, TLs, Accords, and whatnot. But the CivicX system is a little bit on the new side. A few years ago, ATLP developed a catback system for the 10th generation Civic Si sedan. Well, my son recently got a 2020 Civic Sport sedan that actually has a K20C engine in it. We wanted to see if the SI system would work on it. We did find that there was a few changes, but he did drive away with an exhaust system on his car. Watch this video to find out more about what we needed to do to get it to fit and hear how it sounds on a non-turbo Civic sedan. Okay, so you make an exhaust system for a 10th generation Civic Si. It's got the 1.5 liter turbo engine in it, and you think, well, geez, will that fit on my non-turbo K20C engine? Oftentimes we'll find that the body of the car is very similar. Maybe some minor changes are going to have to be made to get an exhaust system to fit on that car. But the number one thing that you're likely to run into is the front connection where it mates to whatever downpipe or catalytic converter. You may end up having a fitment concern there. It's really rather common because the different engine is going to have a different exhaust layout. Well, the way Honda's building cars these days, we find that more stuff is shared than you would think. I was really hopeful that this exhaust system would bolt up really well, and we come to find out that there were a few adjustments that were going to be needed to get this thing on the car. First and foremost, we will start at that very front flange, and as you can see here, we were able to bolt it up. I will say though that the Civic Si triangle, the bolt triangle pattern, is a little bit bigger than it is on the K20C exhaust. So what we found was we had to oval out or enlarge those holes in the flange. It didn't need a lot of work, probably just a couple of millimeters to make them a little bit bigger, and then the flange was able to fit over the factory downpipe section on the K20C engine. We did also have to use nuts that didn't have a flange head on them, and this was just because it became very tight as the bolts were closing down on the 2.5-inch piping that the Civic Si system is made out of. We did ultimately get it bolted up, and as we move down the back of the system, you see that there's a hanger location right underneath the car, and while the hanger is in basically the right direction and generally the right spot, it's not in the right spot to actually hit the rubber bushing as it hangs underneath the car. So we were unable to make that connection at the time of our installation. I don't have a welder or an ability to move that bracket, so basically we just had to run it without that hanger in place. A little bit farther back, we find that near the Y-split, there's two hangers that come off of our exhaust system, which are meant to go to hanger locations underneath the Civic Si chassis. The Civic Si exhaust hangs from two places in that spot, and I think it's because it's got a much larger exhaust layout from the factory. Well, the K20C Sport layout underneath only utilized one of those hangers, so we had one rubber bushing that we could use, and on the other side, thankfully there was a metal bracket underneath the car, but no rubber bushing for us to utilize. That's why I switched out for these hard rubber blue Cusco bushings. They're actually a lot more rigid than factory rubber bushing is, and they control the movement of the exhaust system very well. Made me feel a lot better about not using the hanger up front, having these Cusco ones in place farther back. Now the last connection section, the muffler bolted on just fine, and we did find that the left side hanger hung just the way it was supposed to with the original bushing. But on the other side, there wasn't a bracket on the car to hold the other side of the tips. The Civic Si uses both hangers at the muffler location there, while this car did not. I think because on the Si, it's like a dual muffler system, where this one only had a muffler on one side. So anyway, we were able to get it fit on there. I think we're going to end up welding a bracket underneath the car to put a second hanger there just in case. 2-3 hangers holding the whole system up just doesn't seem like quite enough. So that'll be reinforced in the future. Next question we had really was, how is it going to sound? Because This exhaust system was designed on a Civic Si, which has a turbocharger and has a different sound profile than the NA K20C. Usually on an NA engine, you'll find another resonator farther upstream to help damp some of the sound that's coming out, get rid of some raspy tones or whatever. The turbo doesn't really need that. Actually, you want more sound out of the turbo systems most of the time. Well, we were pleasantly surprised to find that while the exhaust tone was aggressive on the K20C, it's not really over the top. I guess if you're looking for a more aggressive sounding exhaust, it definitely works. And certainly with the little caveats of adjustments that need to be made, weld a bracket under the car here, move this hanger there, this is actually a really good fit for the non-turbo Civic sedan platform. No word on whether it would work on a coupe or not. I think more modification would probably be needed to get that going. So I can't really answer that question for you now. But that being said, we did take some audio clips so you can hear what it sounds like. Some revving and cruising pictures and whatnot. So go ahead and watch the next part of that video to hear how the exhaust system sounds. I'll put a link to this exhaust down in the description so that you can buy one or check it out for yourself in more detailed pictures. Just keep in mind that if you don't have an actual SI sedan, you're going to run into some of these fitment concerns that are actually fairly manageable. Thanks a lot for watching this video, and I hope we taught you something about ATLP. It's a really great exhaust brand. The parts last basically forever, all American made, like I think I said before. So it's been a proud offering from heel toe for at least a dozen years. Enjoy and have a great day. Alright, we've been cruising around with the exhaust on the Civic here, and even though this exhaust wasn't designed around the K20 engine, it's actually for the 1.5 turbo. It sounds really pretty good on this car. It's a little zippy, but there's no resonator, and doesn't drone at all. It sounds pretty good overall. I think if you have a K20 Civic, like a non-turbo 10th gen sedan, and a sport rear bumper, could be a good exhaust option for you. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with it.
I'm very happy with it.
Yeah, look, he's very happy, so you might be too.